It is Monday night, and we are live once again for round number 8 of the Elite Performance Industries Late Model Shootout Series tonight. The LFOD Motorsports 125 from the Five Flags Speedway. I am Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the broadcast booth. And Bill, we talked about it last week. Typically a super late model racetrack. Now we're going to see the first look for the late model stock here at Five Flags. It is a big, fast racetrack for this car.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'm kind of excited about it, Jeff. I think this is going to be really fun with a tire wear situation, putting as much pressure on the tires as these cars should do. And our setup builder's pretty vigilant about finding racetracks that drive well for this late model stock, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to tonight because he gave this one a thumbs up.
Well, we got about 26 drivers. We were going to start 28, so everybody going to be in the show tonight. That's going to take a little bit of pressure off in qualifying, but some big stories developing because, Bill, two of the guys that are deep into our points here in the top 8 with just 2 races to go before the playoffs are not here. Alex McCollum, Cody Kelly, not here tonight. And that's going to open up the door for some of these guys to maybe try to gain some points and get into the chase or the playoffs.
I mean, that's the biggest thing we're trying to do, right? Be in that top 8, get in the get in the playoff rounds. You just want to be part of that top 8 and be one of those last 8 cars. So, like you said, some guys being missed is going to be a big deal. Some of these guys try to close the gap.
Well, Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes qualifying going to begin here. $5, 5 bonus points on the line. And if you're trying to make it into the top 8, those 5 bonus points can be a big deal. Bill, number 8 in the playoffs, no longer part of the series. Aaron Plemons was disqualified from the series due to some penalty issues. And so that opens up the door for Peyton Howell. But Dylan Bates was right there as well, not here tonight. So Dylan Bates not going to have a chance to possibly make the playoffs here tonight.
I mean, I don't know, it's a huge deal. Don't know why he's not here, but we didn't get a heads up that he wasn't going to be here. But, I mean, like you said, big money going to a lot of these drivers. I mean, we're talking over $1,000 with the prizes for these guys, and you got to be in the playoffs to get some of that money. So you really need to be in that top 8 in 2 weeks. And tonight was one of those nights to score points, and some of those guys not going to be here.
Well, as we go to qualifying, Josh Cottle immediately to the top of the board, 16.869. Aaron Johnson second, fast, 16.898. These guys, Johnson actually found a little bit of speed from his qualifying run. So did Josh Cottle. PJ Evans now 16.882 goes second overall. Kelsey Rogers to third on the board. Rick Rube into the top 5.
That's ravishing Rick Rube, Jeff, into the top 5. Peyton Howell goes P6. AJ Rogers P7. Reagan Parent out on the racetrack. He just ran in the strength of field race, Jeff, and he crashed, unfortunately, for Reagan Parent.
Brett Suggs to P3 on the board, 16.884 for Suggs. Remember, if you're hanging out on Facebook, make sure you like and share the stream. Leave us a comment. Let us know who you're here for, who you're cheering for. Let us know who you are, and we'll give you a shout-out here on the stream. Looks like a new look for Jackson Lewis there in the 7 car, huh?
I think Jackson Lewis having a little bit of either I'm having connection issues or he's having connection issues. Jackson was popping in and out for me.
Frank Griffith in the house, cheering for AJ Rogers. As Blaze Brinkley goes 6 overall on his qualifying effort. I believe we're just waiting on Dale Mears now.
I think that's it, Jeff. I think Dell not going to put in a qualifying effort.
So Josh Cottle going to pick up his second Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes qualifying award of the season. So that, Bill, he's already broken even. That's $10 in his pocket. He has already broken even on his season entry fee. And now we're going to head to my favorite thing, Display Dash.
Oh, I hate this thing, especially when it's 25 laps long. And only 6 cars going to participate, and actually probably 5 if Dell doesn't grid.
So Reagan Parent in the house. He wanted to be in the B main, so he's going to start in the back. This will count for the B main points for those guys that are racing for the B main championship. So 6 cars, all 6 going to move on to the feature event tonight. We're not going to take anybody out of the race since we only have 26 starters.
Do you think Reagan really wanted to be in the B main, or is he just telling us that?
He might be just saying that. On the pole for the slow dash, the 71 car, Uncle Pete, Peter Fisher on the outside of him, the Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes machine, the 5 of John Piet.
Starting in the third position in the number 9, that is Colby Bryant. The 2 is outside in the familiar 212. That's Jonathan Sanford.
Starting 5th will be the 17 of Reagan Parent, and starting 6th in tonight's slow dash, the 112, that's Del Mears.
Small field, Jeff. This is a practice session for these guys.
Yeah, a chance to gain a few spots here, but everybody going to move on to the feature event tonight. And yeah, just a test run. Well, let's see if you go 25 laps, what your tires are going to look like. Just a opportunity to run the car hard and get an idea of what the tire wear is going to be like tonight. We've kind of thought coming into this that tire wear could be pretty important here, and tire saving could be key.
I mean, these guys are going to get an opportunity to feel with their car. Hopefully we go green flag racing here for 25 laps, only 6 cars, but they're going to get an opportunity, if they do, to feel what this car is going to feel like after 25 laps of green flag racing. And that could be a little bit of an advantage for this group.
Yeah, definitely. Just to have that knowledge and actually have the data. I mean, they'll go right to the garage, look at the tire wear, and have an idea of, okay, if I push the car for 25 laps, this is what I'm going to have. Can I make it 125 laps? That'll be the question for them. Is right. We're going to go green flag racing for Peter Fisher. Gets a great start. Going to be well ahead of the 5 of John Piet at the line. Colby Bryant looking for second.
Well, we already have cars going around in turn 1.
And everybody saved it, so we're going to stay green. But that was not good as Jonathan Sanford and the 112 of Del Mears got together. And that might have collected Reagan Parent a bit there.
Del Mears ended up way in the back, so separated the entire field as they had an issue going into turn 1.
Well, Peter Fisher out front again. This does count for B-main points, and he's got Colby Bryant breathing right down his neck already. Bryant trying to go for it. Off turn 4, gets to the inside. The 71 going to give him room on the bottom. But look at Colby Bryant sideways through 1 and 2. He's going to lose his momentum there.
Colby Bryant giving her everything he can. He's got that number 9 all kinds of sideways here in this B main.
John Piet back there just stalking the top 2. Have gotten really sideways. The 71 that time was real loose. So maybe this car starting very free on in this run. And you can see him kind of wobbling around. The 71, the back end just keeps sliding around on him there.
We're going to jump inside with John Piet and see what he sees here as he follows the lead battle. You can see him working the wheel, Jeff, as this car, you said it, the car looks a little bit free.
And we've seen the last few weeks, especially last week at South Boston, the Challenger Series race, a lot of guys burned up the right rear tire. And if this thing's going to be that free, you're going to have to really protect the right rear tire. Make sure you don't burn it up early on. Bladen Edwards ran into that problem last week, led a lot of the race, but by the end of the race, the right rear tire was completely melted. He fell all the way back to about 16th, 17th spot at the end of the race. Peter Fisher out front in the B main. Colby Bryant trying to reel him in, and both of them sideways, but they are starting to gap the 5 of John Piet just slightly. As Colby Bryant trying to find a way around. The 71 got way up the racetrack. Colby almost followed him up into the fence there.
I think Colby Bryant did catch a little bit of fence there, Jeff, as his car seemed to bounce off the outside wall. I don't really see a whole lot of damage on the right side of that number 9, but man, he is pushing real hard to try to win this B-main.
And the more these guys push, the more John's able to catch back up in the 5 machine. So Piet pulled back in, and he is, again, right on the bumper of Colby Bryant. Bill, I get the sense watching this that we're going to see a lot of on-throttle time tonight, which is going to make it difficult to get a pass done. I mean, these guys are all so equal right now. When you get your opportunity, if somebody makes a mistake, you're going to have to just jump all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not great either, Jeff, because we see a lot of wrecks happen when you really have to take every opportunity that you possibly can. We're going to ride along with Colby Bryant here as he tries to find his way around Peter Fisher, and we'll listen for that throttle track. So you can hear him go down into turn 1, lifting off the gas, and only off the gas for about, boy, maybe a quarter of turn 1. I mean, just through turn 1, Jeff, he was back on the gas in turn 2, and he is sliding this thing. You can see this car rotate. Setup builders call that cutting through the corner.
And he's trying some different things. He's trying different lines than Peter Fisher. He's getting much lower on the racetrack, but it seems like he's clipping the apron through 3 and 4 a bit, and that's upsetting the car a lot every time he gets down too far on the racetrack. So it's a kind of a struggle right there for Colby. He wants to get underneath the 71, but every time he tries to dive that car to the bottom, it just gets out of shape on him.
You can see that car just working its way sideways through the corner, driving this car hard, and it wants to step out. It's going to be interesting for a 125-lap feature. But Peter doing a much better job up front, Jeff. That car doesn't seem quite as loose as Colby's car. Colby driving up really, really hard. Peter, you can see there, he is getting loose there a little bit off of 2.
Well, and that's the situation of having to balance the car, right? If you drive it off the right rear too much, it's going to just be so loose you can't drive the car anymore. Is Colby Bryant going to dive down underneath the 71 into turn 1? Peter got up the racetrack, kind of slowed everybody's momentum down, and here comes Colby Bryant trying to make something happen here in the B main, lap 17.
Side by side through the corner, Bryant on the bottom, Fisher up top. They'll stay side by side down the front straightaway.
Fun battle between Colby Bryant and Peter Fisher, the 5, John Piette, just watching this as Reagan Parent is gaining on this group. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get there, but if they stay side by side, it might allow him to maybe pick off some spots here.
Oh, and Colby Bryant with an issue on the bottom. Car got really loose. Here comes John Piette to the outside. Now Piette looking for second place. He's been really, really consistent behind these guys, letting them battle it out. And now they'll make contact on the front straightaway. They'll hang on to it into 1.
Good save by Colby Bryant as John Piette takes the 2nd spot. Peter Fisher, that's going to allow him to get away. He opens up his lead to about half a second there. And now you can start to see Reagan Parent lurking back there as he starts to make his way to the front of the field, but he's only got about 5 laps to go here. But we talked about the B main points. Every spot matters. Elliott Carlson, Devin Rogers not here tonight. Both those drivers 1-2 in the B main standing. So Jonathan Sanford, who's running in the 5th spot, the first car here in this B main. Peter Fisher still out front. John Piette trying to close the gap. And now Reagan Parent's caught Colby Bryant. Colby Bryant's car is just out of shape now. I think he learned a valuable lesson here in this B main that right rear is just not going to take being slid like he did here.
Yeah, well, I believe you're 100% correct, Jeff. He has learned a lot in this B main. He's going to have to take it a lot easier than this. I think everybody watching this race is understanding that they're going to have to take it a lot easier than Colby Bryant was driving that car for 20 laps.
Well, Peter Fisher is going to see the white flag this time by John Piette trying to get there. He's closed the gap some, but still about 2 car lengths as they head down the back straightaway. Peter Fisher out front this time through 3 and 4. He'll see the checkered flag at the start-finish line. Peter Fisher moving on to the A main, taking John Piette with him. Reagan Parent. It looks like Reagan's off the pace, so Colby Bryant going to get that spot back. Jonathan Sanford and then Reagan Parent going to drop to the rear of the field. And then Del Mears also going to move on in the 6th spot.
Wonder if that was a strategic move from Reagan Parent. Knowing everybody was going to make it into the race, I wonder if he's going to drop back to try to save tires. The man who made our preseason race crazy, right, Jeff? He was the guy that broke out and tried to lap the field. And now he's going to drop back. It looks like he's going to drop back to save those tires.
Yeah, you're gonna try something different, possibly. Maybe realize during that that B main, that tire saving was gonna be so important that he decided he needed to go ahead and save. We'll build the TP3D penalty report tonight. We're gonna have 3 cars going to the rear of the field due to penalties accumulated throughout the season. The 66 of Eric Tracy, the 17 of Reagan Parent, and the 88 of Kyle Meyer. So maybe Reagan just assumed I'm going to the back anyway. I might as well just start in the back.
Right.
Now my play,
less work for you, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it might play to his benefit if he's going for the Adobe Mountain Speedway Hard Charger Award. It is based on your official starting position, so he is officially supposed to start a few spots back. That'll help him. So we are in our final warm-up. The drivers that already qualified their way in on the racetrack getting just a few minutes of practice here just to fill out the racetrack. Again, talking about point standings, there's just 2 races to go before we head into our championship playoffs. Jackson Lewis out front. Josh Cottle just earned himself 5 bonus points, and that is going to pull him. He was only 4 back of Jackson Lewis. That should pull him pretty much even with Jackson Lewis. So Josh Cottle, Jackson Lewis in a tight battle atop the standings. Alex McCollum, Cody Kelly sit 3rd and 4th. They are not here tonight. PJ Evans 5th, Caden Fisher 6th coming into tonight. Trevor Edwards 7th. Again, Aaron Plemons not here. In 8th, Peyton Howell, the first car outside that playoff spot, in 9th.
Kind of odd, Jeff. Only 16 cars taking the opportunity to go out and warm up. So the rest of these guys feel pretty good about their chances here tonight at Five Flag Speedway.
Well, and it's about time to grid. Another small invert tonight. Last week, that was the smallest invert we had seen in quite a while. And then again, it hits us a small invert tonight. So cars going to start to make the grid. The invert was 4.
That's up to random.org, Jeff. It gives us a random invert between 4 and 9 cars. That's why we have the point standings and the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes Quick Time Award. That way that, you know, guys are still going for that quick time, even though we're going to have an invert. And the invert's for fun, right? I mean, it's just we try to invert some of the cars. The a little bit faster cars get to start behind the the cars a little bit slower than them. We'd like to see some good racing.
Well, let's start with our grid for tonight's LFOD Motorsports 125 on the pole. This guy qualified 4th, hits the invert. The 34, it's Kelsey Rogers. On the outside of him, the 33 machine, that is Brett Suggs.
PJ Evans is going to roll off P3 in the number 12. And on his outside in the 13, it's Jinx, Josh Cottle.
Starting 5th tonight in the car 78, it'll be Aaron Johnson on the outside of him. And then number 11, it's Blaze Brinkley.
Starting in the 7th position in the number 81 machine, it is the ravishing one, Rick Rube, and on the outside of him, starting 8th in the 55, it's Josh Parrish.
In the 52, starting 9th tonight, it's Baby Shark Peyton Howell. On the outside of him. And the 17, it's AJ Rogers.
Trevor Edwards will roll off P11 in the number 32 machine, and on his outside in the number 28, it's Corey Bigley.
Starting 13th in the 18 machine, it's Caden Fisher. Going to the rear of the field due to a penalty, he was scheduled to start 14th. It'll be Eric Tracy in the 67.
Starting 15th in the number 31 machine, it is Super Zach Onen, and on his outside in the number 7, looks like he's still having some connection problems there, Jeff. I don't know if you're seeing that, but that's Jackson Lewis.
Starting 17th, making his late model shootout series debut for the season, the 92, Dylan Schreiner on the outside of him. In the 10 car, it'll be Brendan Lee.
Starting 19th in the number 88, that's Kyle Meyer, and on his outside in the number 65, it's Aaron Abendroth.
Starting 21st, your B-main winner, Uncle Pete, Peter Fisher on the outside of him. In the Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes car, the 5, John Piet.
Colby Ryan is going to roll off P9 in the number 23. Just saw him put on that slide around the racetrack in the B main, and on the outside of him in the familiar 212, Jonathan Sanford.
Starting 25th will be the 17 of Reagan Parent, and starting 26 on the grid, the 112 Adele Mears. Of course, Kyle Meyer, Eric Tracy, and Reagan Parent going to go to the rear of the field. Looks like Jackson Lewis also going to take the opportunity to go to the rear of the field here.
And Jackson seemed to be having something going on with his connection. I kept seeing it, Jeff, and I think maybe he's seeing it as well. Nonetheless, Jackson taking an opportunity to go into the pits. Actually, not into the pits. I guess he just dropped to the rear of the field.
All right, Bill, I think pace car is going to head off the racetrack this time. Kelsey Rogers is going to take us green flag racing. And actually, take that back. Pacer are going to go one more time.
That a good old pace. It's Richard Petty again, Jeff. Why do we keep letting him drive the pace truck? Just won't leave the racetrack when we want him to. Lights are out, and he stays out there. Maybe I need to park the truck, Jeff. Go back to the sedan.
Well, I can't confirm. He is coming in this time, so...
You talked to good old Richard there in the truck. We can't see him with those dark tinted windows on that Silverado.
Tim White in the chat cheered for Kyle Meyer as we get set to go green flag racing. The LFOD Motorsports 125 is underway. Kelsey Rogers taking us to the green flag with Brett Suggs on the outside. PJ Evans looking for third early on. The question is, how many guys want to push? How many want to ride? And they are 3 wide down the back straightaway for the lead.
Well, that was early. We've got some action for the lead. PJ Evans stuck it underneath Kelsey Rogers. Brett Suggs decided to back off. They're going to go 3 wide again down the front straightaway. And PJ Evans gets into the back of Kelsey Rogers. Rogers up the racetrack.
Well, nobody's waiting to go to the lead, that's for sure. Brett Suggs makes the move back from the top side to the bottom, pushes them 3 wide again. PJ and Kelsey Rogers get together. Now Brett Suggs going to lead that lap. This is wild right from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, that was quick, wasn't it? They decided to go very early.
So Brett Suggs and PJ Evans have sorted out. Kelsey Rogers into the 3rd spot. Josh Cottle, your quick qualifier, riding in 4th. Here comes Blaze Brinkley into the 5th spot. Is he going to get a little bump from Aaron Johnson? And Blaze and Aaron going to get together down the back straightaway into the wall.
Now they have issues, but we stay green, Jeff. They didn't actually wreck. They wrecked, but they didn't spin out. Now Blaze Brinkley going to stop on the racetrack. That will likely bring out a yellow. It did.
And I think Blaze is called it a night, too. I think he's a little frustrated there with the 78. He got on the radio, was not happy with Aaron Johnson. So it looked like Aaron just got into the back of the 11, and Blaze tried to save it for as long as he could.
I'll take a look and see what happened here. We'll jump back a little bit farther, Jeff. I think that started even sooner than that. So we're going to go back so you can see everything that was happening between the 78 and the 11, and you can make your call at home. Here they are in the back straightaway on the previous lap, going down into turn number 3. Looks like Blaze Brinkley is going to make that move. And they make contact through 3 and 4, and that might have gotten the 78 driver a little bit hot under the collar, because going down into turn number 1, he gives the 11 car a shot. And then basically wrecks them.
Yeah, that's the tough part. I mean, I get you're frustrated, but it's only lap 6 there. I don't know if it's worth ruining, ending your race right there.
Well, he had to make that decision, Jeff, and, well, he chose door number 2. You see, got into the back end of him there, and then it looks like he's going to get off him, but his second shot, I think the second bump to Brinkley's rear end just was too much. Brinkley not able to save it. Oh, they were right up there in a solid running position, too, in the top 10. It's that shot that ends it. Brinkley not able to save it. You can see him trying to turn it back. Can't do it. I mean, that's so early.
Yeah, just too early to race like that. I mean, we saw guys getting aggressive for the lead, but again, Aaron, it's just it's a risk-reward situation. I mean, I get letting the guy know you're not happy with him, but it ended up taking Aaron out of the race as well as Blaze Brinkley, and that's 2 solid cars. Blaze in contention of possibly making it into the playoffs as well. I mean, he was just, I believe, just outside. He was actually about 19th in points. He had an outside chance if he could have strung together some top 3s, top 5s in the final 2 races, but that is going to be a tough road now for Blaze Brinkley to make it in, as Brett Suggs, PJ Evans are doubled up down the back straightaway, getting set to go back to green flag racing here on lap 9.
Well, that initial start was pretty exciting. Let's see if we can get some more of that.
Well, you can see that strategy right now. Everybody wants to be in control. They want to start in the front, and PJ Evans gets down right behind Brett Suggs as we go back to green flag racing. Kelsey Rogers, Josh Cottle settle it out. Now it's between Josh Parrish and Rick Rube. The battle for 5th. Is Parrish going to take that position?
big gaggle of cars in the middle here, Jeff. Peyton Howell, Corey Bigley, Trevor Edwards, Caden Fisher, Peter Fisher. Caden Fisher looks like he's having some connection issues in the 18 car.
I wonder if Caden Fisher's wondering how the heck Uncle Pete came from the B main, is already in 11th, right behind him on lap 11.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Caden's going to look to the inside of Trevor Edwards, thinks better of it. Early, only 12 laps down in this 125-lap race.
Yeah, I think I see some drivers in the middle of the field that are just kind of cruising right now. AJ Rogers moves up the racetrack along with Corey Bigley. I think these guys are in tire-saving mode. They are letting people go.
Out front, PJ Evans now putting the challenge to Brett Suggs as they'll go side by side through 1 and 2. Suggs will fall in behind PJ Evans. PJ Evans takes the lead. Saw him lead a race earlier this season at North Wilkesboro. Darn near won that race. Now, here comes Josh Cottle in the 13, Jeff. Josh Cottle's been one of those drivers that has found that groove. He and Trevor Edwards have found the way to save tires and go fast. Cottle all the way up to 3rd already.
Yeah, I almost thought Cottle looked like he was just kind of in saving mode, and then he just took an opportunity there to get around Kelsey Rogers as Josh Parrish is starting to put the pressure on them as well. And so Cottle maybe just thinking, you know what, if I can get to the front, I will take the opportunity. And he is there into the 3rd spot as Josh Parrish, the top 5 cars, breaking away ahead of Rick Rube in 6th spot. Trevor Edwards about to have a battle with Caden Fisher, and Edwards going to move up the racetrack. He lets the 18 machine go.
Caden Fisher moves up to the 7th spot. Trevor Edwards back to 8th. And you got another group of cars led by Baby Shark in the 52. AJ Rogers is there as well. Peter Fisher coming out of the B main. He's all the way up to that 11th position. And now here comes Dylan Schreiner making his first start with the series this week. He's in 12th.
And Dylan Schreiner, he was eligible for Monday nights. He chose to race on Tuesday just to get back into Philly. He hadn't been iRacing in a couple years. Did a couple races on Tuesday night, and he said, you know what? I feel like challenging the Monday night guys now. So he has moved up to the Monday night series.
Dylan, an IMCA stock car driver out of, I think he's in Texas.
Texas now,
yeah. Texas, yeah. So he races down there. Again,
well, change to the lead as well as Brett Suggs goes back by PJ Evans.
Wow. I think Brett Suggs sees that number 13 coming. I think that was a little giddy up out of that 33 car.
I think tire saving's important, but I think a lot of these guys watch certain drivers, and they know if that guy gets around me, I might not be able to pass him back. And once they see that driver coming up in their mirror, they move. And Brett Suggs takes it to the lead now as he gets around PJ Evans. Josh Cottle runs 3rd. Josh Parrish 4th. Kelsey Rogers into the 5th spot. Rick Rube has caught this group, so your top 6 have broken away from Caden Fisher in 7th.
Peyton Howell has actually dropped the anchor, Jeff. He's sliding backwards as he's now back to 12th in that 52 car. Somebody's told him, start saving tires. There's Corey Bigley around the outside here, 5 flags. That's not normal. So you know Peyton Howell is actually backing up. Here comes John Piet in the 5. He's running 14th. Good run for Piet. And right behind him, Aaron Abertroff is actually going to look to the inside of Piet now.
Yeah, I think Piet had a lift there for the 52, and he's going to take it to the outside as Peyton Howell letting the field go by on the top side of the racetrack. And again, we saw last week with his teammate Bladen Edwards. Bladen burned the right rear tire off in the Challenger Series race, and I think Peyton's maybe taking a lesson from what Bladen learned last week and said, you know what, I'm going to go to the back and just cruise around for a bit.
Battle is back on for the lead, Jeff. PJ Evans just went to the outside and drove around the outside of Brett Suggs. Josh Cottle watching there, and you see Josh Parrish in the 55 and Kelsey Rogers in the 34. Rick Rube is the caboose on this train of 6. They're still battling out here for the lead while a lot of guys are saving tires.
Yeah, PJ Evans takes the opportunity to go to the front. And Trevor Edwards back by Caden Fisher back there for the 7th spot to move the 32 back up into the 7th. It's almost like guys are filling it out, right, Bill? They show a little speed, they start passing cars, and then they realize maybe I've been burning them up too much, and then they slowed it back down.
Yeah, you start to worry about are you using up too much? You know, what's going to happen? When are we going to get a yellow? If I use too much tire before that yellow, the guys that were back there going really slow, they're going to have more tires. It's a complete strategy game with these guys because you know the yellow's probably coming.
Well, we talked about it's so hard to pass, and at this track, it's so fast, and you're on the throttle so much, it makes it hard to get runs and make passes later when everybody's flat out. And right now, Kelsey Rogers is going to take another opportunity to go around Josh Parrish. And Rick Rube sees the door open, and he's going to try to take it as well. And Parrish is going to let the 81 machine go.
Rick Rube makes the move. He moves that 81 car up into 5th. Josh Parrish slides back to 6th.
And now Trevor Edwards is into this mix. So your top 7 cars now are in a train, have broken away from the field.
And now Josh Parrish is going to let the 32 car of Trevor Edwards go. So Edwards moves up to 6. Now, like you said, you have 7 cars. And just back behind them, Caden Fisher chasing that group as he's kind of riding by himself right now in the 18 in front of Uncle Pete. Is running just behind him with Corey Bigley, AJ Rogers. Actually, that's Dylan Schreiner, then AJ Rogers, then Corey Bigley. John Piette running 13th. Aaron Abendroth running in the 65 car in 14th. And then you finally find Baby Shark, who's been on saving mode for a bit. He's in 15th.
Well, these guys are starting to see the back of the field. PJ Evans, he can see the first lap car, which will be Aaron Johnson. Aaron currently 2 laps down in the 25th spot, still making laps. Del Mears right ahead of him is still on the lead lap in the 24th spot. So these guys starting to see the back of the field now, and that might start getting them stacked up a bit here.
The amazing part to me, Jeff, is how tight the leaders are to each other. They are nose to tail, bumper to bumper. Everybody else on this racetrack seems to be giving each other just a little bit of room. But those guys, they are really close to each other, those top 4. Peyton House still in massive tire saving mode, as he has dropped back to 18th now. He's been passed by Brendan R. Lee, Eric Tracy, Jonathan Sanford's gone by in the 212, and now Zach Oden in the 31, who has also been saving tires. He is in 19th, and he's putting pressure on Peyton Howell in the 52.
Well, Aaron Johnson moved out of the way, let the field go, but that allowed Trevor Edwards to dive underneath the 81 of Rick Rube to move Edwards up into the 5th spot now, as that 32 car is on the charge. He has moved all the way up, started 11th tonight, already up into 5th. Other drivers on the move. Peter Fisher started 21st. Your B-main winner is running 8th. Dylan Schreiner started 17th. He is up to 10th.
We've talked about it before, Jeff. Alex McCollum is one of those drivers that was, when we were in the super late model, if you saw him getting to your back bumper, you were nervous. That car has become Trevor Edwards. And now we've got a battle for the lead. Brett Suggs pokes the nose down low. PJ Evans up the racetrack in the 12. And man, he just got on the throttle, drove right back around him. That's how you use up a little bit of tire, but also defend the position.
Well, PJ Evans has started to move up the racetrack. And I don't know if it's cars getting loose, if it's getting tight, but he's moved up a lane or so. And then when he misses that lane, it really opens up the door for Brett Suggs. So he's leaving the bottom wide open for the 33 when he wants to make the run.
We were talking about Trevor Edwards, Jeff. He is one of those drivers. I was trying to make the point that he is now the new, kind of, Alex McCollum. He's been that good in this late model stock since we jumped to the new car. And he has found a way to make speed and save tires in that 32 machine. He's told us in post-race interviews that he had more left, and he'd been really fast and won races, right? So when you see that 32 start coming, you got to get on the gas, and these guys are definitely checking their mirrors to see where he's at.
Well, the other guys that are going to get on the gas right now, Reagan Parrott, Del Mears, Jackson Lewis, they are just ahead of this battle for the lead. And now it's time to start pushing. They've been saving tires, open for a caution. Well, here we are, lap 40, and we've only had one caution, and now these guys have fallen nearly a whole track behind the leaders.
Yeah, cars spread out all the way around the speedway. Now that these guys, ooh, Del Mears almost got into the back of Reagan Parent, and unfortunately, Jackson Lewis still having connection issues in that 7 car.
And I think that's why Jackson dropped to the rear. He is the points leader. He's just trying to get what he can tonight, but he is having some serious internet issues, and he has just kind of gone to the back to try to hide. But unfortunately, here comes the leaders now.
A little bit farther back, John Piette and Aaron Abendroth, they are battling for 13th, and they make contact. Piette gonna get the wall just a little bit. It looked like Aaron Abendroth caught the apron through 3 and 4, and they made contact, but Piette did a fantastic job to slow that car up just enough not to catch a ton of the wall. I don't think he'll have a lot of damage on that 5 machine. Keeps on going.
Jackson Lewis moves out of the way, goes a lap down. Your points leader just went a lap down as PJ Evans gets around him. Brett Suggs had some struggles there getting through lap traffic. That opened up the door for Trevor Edwards to go around Kelsey Rogers as they all kind of stacked up behind the 33. And PJ Evans got about 2 car lengths, but now he's having a struggle here trying to get around Reagan Parent, who's fighting to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, Reagan Parent does not want to go a lap down. You would like to see the caution if you're in that 17 machine. because you want to get back up with these guys. You've been in tire saving mode, and they've been burning them up, going faster than you enough to get to your back bumper. And Reagan Parent just wants to hold them off long enough, but man, oh man, those guys are still moving quickly as here comes PJ Evans to the back bumper of the 17 car. How long will he wait, Jeff, before he gets frustrated?
I don't think it's going to take long, especially if he keeps seeing that 13 machine start to creep to the outside of Brett Suggs. Josh Cottle looks like he's getting antsy because he sees Trevor Edwards coming behind him. So these guys are realizing, hey, we got some fast drivers starting to creep their way to the front. It is time to start thinking about track position here. And BJ Evans just cannot get a run on Reagan Parent. Finally down the front straightaway, he's going to have it.
They'll be side by side through 1 and 2. Reagan Parent's going to try to do everything he can to defend. This is a battle not to go a lap down. Reagan Parent does not want to go a lap down. Aaron Johnson out on the racetrack right now in the 78. He goes all the way up the racetrack not to get in front of the lead lap cars. But now Reagan Parent finally goes a lap down to PJ Evans. Now he's going to be stuck on the outside as here comes Brett Suggs, Josh Cottle, Trevor Edwards, all going to put the 17 a lap down.
Well, now Reagan Parent's job is to try to keep pace with this group because he needs to get around whoever else they pass, which will be Del Mears next as they are catching the 112. So he needs to make sure he gets around Del Mears if Del Mears gets lapped before the caution waves.
Working lap 49 of this 125 lap race. Battle still going on within the field. Caden Fisher and Dylan Schreiner, they're going to battle for position. That's a battle for 9th. Schreiner on the outside. Caden Fisher, the 18, on the bottom. Caden Fisher moves past Schreiner as they come through 3 and 4. That's going to put him into the 9th position. Now Schreiner going to battle back down into turn 1.
Also a battle for 4th as Kelsey Rogers got back underneath Trevor Edwards. He's going to try to take this spot back from Trevor Edwards.
Side by side off of turn 4, Kelsey Rogers, Trevor Edwards. Oh, and they make contact going into turn number 1. Just a tap from the 34 of Rogers. Then Edwards was able to save it. Not a big bump, but enough to get him up the racetrack. That puts Rogers back into 4th. Trevor Edwards falls back to 5th. Josh Parrish right there, and Rick Rube looking on.
Well, Bill, I think this is some of the green flag battles that we've been hoping for all season long, and Five Flags is producing right now. Great racing all over the racetrack. Everywhere we look, there's a little race going on all over the track.
Yeah, a lot of great racing happening on this racetrack right now. When we come back around, we'll probably give you a starter cam just so you can find your favorite driver as they pass Barney in the starter cam. You can see where everybody is on the racetrack and the gap they have from everyone else. Here they come. You see them down on the front straightaway.
Well, we talk about how equal and how good this field is. PJ Evans, your leader, trying to chase down Del Mears, who would be the next car to go a lap down. Del Mears was faster than the leader that last lap. So Del Mears is running 22nd, and he can run the same laps as the leader. This field is absolutely stacked.
Absolutely. That was your entire field, Jeff. We gave him a good starter cam look, just like NASCAR used to do. Now, weird thing, Reagan Parent is kind of caught in the middle of all these guys. He's actually been able to kind of drop in line as if they were at Talladega. Parent has the speed to do that. They're kind of bobbing and weaving around him like, hey man, you're not on the lead lap.
Yeah, Kelsey Rogers trying to find a way around him. Right behind them, Trevor Edwards looked like his car got a little tight or something going into turn 1 and 2. Got up the racetrack. Josh Parrish wasn't close enough to take advantage in the 55. But again, your top 8 cars, actually 7 cars with Rick Rube running 7th, have broken away. It is a long way back to Peter Fisher, who runs 9th, who's kind of found a spot on the racetrack all by himself because Dylan Schreiner just went around his nephew, the 18 of Caden Fisher. And now here comes AJ Rogers. Here comes Corey Bigley. So Caden up the racetrack, and everybody going to try to take advantage of him here. Yeah,
Caden Fisher just made contact with Dylan Schreiner the last time through 3 and 4, actually a lap ago. Kind of bounced it off the front stretch wall. Not a lot of damage on the 18 car, but struggling right now as he almost made contact with Corey Bigley. Kudos to Corey. See him drop off the main line there as he saw the 18 struggling. Goes by his teammate. Those are both Revelry Racing drivers. Here comes Aaron Abendroth in another Revelry car, and they'll almost make contact through 1 and 2.
Aaron Abendroth trying to move forward. He's in the 13th position, started 20th tonight. Caden Fisher going backwards right now as here comes Eric Tracy, who started the rear of the field due to a penalty. He's going to try to get around the 18 of Caden Fisher.
AJ Rogers and Dylan Schreiner, they're battling out here. That's a battle for the 9th spot. Rogers looking to the outside, Jeff. That's not normal here at Five Flags. This is what we want to see from the late model stock. Now Rogers going to cross Schreiner over down into turn number 1. He'll look for that 9th spot through 1 and 2.
AJ Rogers on the move. As Schreiner got a little up the racetrack, almost in the marbles. That thing got sideways off turn 2. That was kind of a scary moment. But now 92 is going to be in the same boat the 18 was. Here comes the line of cars on the inside as Corey Bigley going to try to go around. Such similar looking cars right there between the 28 and the 92.
Eric Tracy and Caden Fisher battling. I think Caden threw a little bit of a block on Eric Tracy down the front straightaway. John Piet looking on in the 5. They're right in front of them, and we're going to have a contact between Bigley and Schreiner. Schreiner into the wall. Big damage on the 92. They had that yaw situation, Jeff, where we've seen cars get a little bit sideways and just catch each other. Schreiner got up in the wall hard, no yellow, but the right front of that 92 machine is destroyed.
Yeah, heavy damage as John Piet goes by him now, and he lost spots to Eric Tracy. He lost spots to Caden Fisher, so a lot of spots lost for Dylan Schreiner as he falls back into the 15th position.
We're going to jump back out front, Jeff. Nothing really changed up here. Is that front group with Reagan Parent in the middle, who is a lap down in that 17 car. They are still super tight nose to tail. PJ Evans leading this race with Brett Suggs and Josh Cottle right behind him.
Yeah, and how much does tire saving matter? Look at Del Mears. He is pulled away from the leader right now. So that 112 car has got a little bit healthier tires by cruising around in the back for this long. But the question is, if this thing was to go green the rest of the way, does he have enough to get all the way back around the racetrack?
Yeah, I think that's the risk you run, is if it was to go green, as unlikely as we've seen these short track races go green for this amount of time, if it does go green, I don't think you can catch back up to these guys. However, Jeff, they might burn them up completely. We might see some failures in this race, and then the yellow's going to come out, and then Del Mears is in the catbird seat.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kelsey Rogers was trying to get around Reagan Parent, couldn't complete the pass, and that's going to allow the 32 to take a look here for the fifth, or actually the 4th position. It's Trevor Edwards got position on the inside of Kelsey Rogers now.
John Piet makes the challenge to Aaron Abendroth as they go down the back straightaway. That is a battle for the 13th position up front. Jeff was just talking about it. Trevor Edwards and Kelsey Rogers go side by side. They're battling for 4th.
I'm starting to see the 33 and the 13 put some pressure to PJ Evans as well, and it looks like the 12, that car might be starting to slow down a bit. The pace from the 12 is starting to fall off here as Brett Suggs and Josh Cottle are now all over the back bumper of him.
His last lap was a 17.331, Jeff. His best lap was a 17.131, and I don't know if at any point these guys were going as hard as they possibly could, right? So he's already fallen off 2/10 of what was his pacing speed. You know, the speeds he was pacing himself, but still trying to go fast. So these cars falling off quite a bit. You've been talking about Del Mears. Del Mears, he's about the same speed as PJ Evans right now.
Yeah, and Del Mears is actually catching Colby Bryant and Kyle Meyer along with Peyton Howell. So these guys are running 20th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Del Mears in 22nd is catching them, and he is bringing along your lead back. So these guys are going to start looking in the mirror and saying, hey, I need to start going too.
Yeah, and that's going to be a battle for position. So this thing's going to get really sticky as Del Mears starts to catch these cars. If the leader catches them, they might get out of the way knowing that they're getting lapped. But Del Mears is a battle for a spot. So you really don't want that 112 to pass you.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd like to have that little buffer there to keep the leader between you and going a lap down. But right now, Colby Bryant's going to start feeling the pressure as the caution waves here in lap 72, 74.
Schreiner around on the front straightaway.
Well, looks like it might just be an all by myself moment there.
Well, he had a damaged race car in that 92 car after the contact with Corey Bigley. We'll pick him up as he goes through 3 and 4. Yeah, just gets on the throttle really hard. Probably trying to get that car to turn, Jeff. I imagine it's probably a little bit tight with that damage on the right front. As he got on the gas, gave him a little pushy-loose situation, and 92 just loops her around.
Well, Bill, this is going to give us the opportunity. That was a single car incident, so that's going to give us the opportunity to do something we've been talking about in the new rules, which is quickie yellows.
Why don't you explain what a quickie yellow is, Jeff?
Well, as soon as the pace car crosses the line, we're going to cut 2 laps off the caution, so that means we're only going to have 2 laps of yellow.
Which also means we're not going to have a whole lot of replays of that single car spin.
No, and we don't
it's not that interesting anyway.
Yeah, just a self-spin.
Well, that was exciting. I mean, all we want to ever see is green flag racing guys racing each other. And we had, I don't know when we went green, Jeff, but it was quite a few laps here at 5 Flags. This car just This car puts on a show. You gotta love it. So Jeff doing some race control with our drivers, letting them know we are going back to green. Make your moves, make things happen. And since there was no damage and no actual car crashed, even though Dylan Schreiner probably would have benefited from some time in the repair
yeah,
pit
absolutely.
lane.
Well, here we go. Pace car off the racetrack. PJ Evans going to take us green flag racing once again. Lap 77 restart for only our second restart of the race here.
Brett Suggs did not get going on the outside. Josh Cottle to the inside. 33 and 13 are going to battle off of turn number 2. Side by side down the back straightaway now. Brett Suggs trying to make the move on the outside as Cottle pinned down to the bottom. That's what you want to see. You want to try to pin that car down. Suggs is going to gain the momentum down the front straightaway, try to take that spot back.
Yeah, Cottle and Suggs side by side. That's allowing some breathing room for PJ Evans. And then you got Trevor Edwards back there trying to figure out which line is going to move ahead. And Trevor Edwards just kind of playing the waiting game as they battle hard behind him. That's Josh Parrish and Kelsey Rogers battling for fifth.
Now, here's where the tires start to wear, Jeff. All that time they've been driving. Now they got to drive hard as they want to battle for position. And there's a gaggle of cars back here that are all side by side.
Yeah, Rick Rube and AJ Rogers are battling. Corey Bigley, Peter Fisher battling. Looks like Brett Suggs going to clear Josh Cottle down the front straightaway. Cottle got tight. That opened up the door for the 33 to get down in front of him. And now the top 6 car single file. Rick Rube settles that battle with AJ Rogers. So AJ falls back into 8th. Peter Fisher runs 9th.
A lot of things happening back here, Jeff. Sorry, I was watching this kind of middle of the field here. Caden Fisher took a look underneath Corey Bigley last time through and then got in the rear of him. Bigley was able to save it but walked up the racetrack, and Eric Tracy blew by both of them. So Eric Tracy moves up to 10th. Whole bunch of cars here right in the middle. One of those cars is Peyton Howe. Baby Shark starting to make his way back forward after doing an extreme tire saving for many laps.
Yeah, and right now he is just stuck in traffic as he tries to go 3 wide up the inside with Brendan Lee. Gets into the 10 car just a bit. Brendan's going to get up into the 88 of Kyle Meyer, and we're going to have an incident here. Caution's going to wave on the back straightaway. Brendan Lee...
Never a good idea to dive bottom. That's tough. That's going to cause yellow. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's not going to work. Not sure Peyton Howe really did anything wrong. He's just making the move into one. But when you dive under 2 cars that are side by side already,
yeah, it was an ultra aggressive move.
I mean, he needs to be. He's been saving tires. Abendroth. I mean, what it is the 52 enters so shallow because of that move. I mean, he catches apron and the car walks up the racetrack.
Yeah, I think Frank Griffin in the chat said if we could get the Chopper Motorsports, Stinger Motorsports cam.
Yeah, we'll give you that one. Quick, Stinger Motorsports Chopper.
Yeah,
cam.
I think I'm seeing the same thing you are, and that's the 52 just washes up the track mid-corner. The 10 and the 65 gave him room on the bottom. He had plenty of space down there, and that car just walked up the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see it. Just comes off that white line. You can see Zach Onen right in front of him when he doesn't have that flat apex as he goes into the corner. He just gets up a little higher than Onen. Onen's right there on the white line. And unfortunately, Brendan Lee, Kyle Meyer, nowhere to really go. Tries to avoid the 10. Nothing you can do. We'll give it to the backstretch view here. They're going to come right into your living room as Kyle Meyer and Brendan Lee are going to make contact here on the back straightaway. Ouch.
Yeah, poor Kyle Meyer just gets collected in that. He's another guy that kind of rode around in the back, had some tires saved up, and unfortunately just gets collected in that one.
He'll be on pit lane in that 88 car. He's now it looks to be 3 laps down.
It's like Aaron Johnson's called it a night. Blaze Brinkley's still out on the racetrack. He is 27 laps down. Going to try to pick up some spots here if Kyle Meyer and Dylan Schreiner don't continue on. Peyton Howe going to go to the rear of the field for causing that incident. Now, they did complete 6 laps of green flag racing there, so it will be double file restart this time.
This one's been in high gear tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, we are already down into crunch time here. Lap 88 restart coming for PJ Evans, Brett Suggs, Josh Cottle, Trevor Edwards, Kelsey Rogers, Josh Parrish.
I feel like it's still a good distance to go, but the price of poker's definitely gone up.
Yeah, if you're one of those guys that save tires and you're still back there about 18th, 17th position, you need to start passing cars because time is running short and be able to get through the field right now as PJ Evans takes his green flag racing once again. Another good restart for him. And again, Josh Cottle is right there to challenge Brett Suggs, not going to give the 33 any opportunity to drop down in front of him. Kelsey Rogers and Trevor Edwards also battle for the 4th position behind this battle for 2nd. They get together a little bit through 1 and 2. Look like the 34 might have tank slapped the 32, and now trouble for Josh Cottle, who's finally back there. He disappeared for a second.
He had a bit of a blinking issue. Rick Rube is going to battle with Josh Parrish. That's a battle for the 6th spot. They're side by side. Trevor Edwards and Kelsey Rogers, they're not done as they're going to continue to battle. Man, a lot of cars on the racetrack side by side.
Bill, I'm seeing a lot of cars start to defend on the outside, and I wonder if the inside line, it's getting tight. The right front tire's starting to wear out, and these guys just can't make it stick on the bottom. And I saw Josh Parrish pull ahead on the outside. Brett Suggs was able to clear Cottle on the outside. It looks like that outside line might start picking up here.
I think also the momentum helps, Jeff. I think it makes it easier to get off the corner because you don't have to get the power down.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of pinching going on as you're seeing right now with Peter Fisher and Caden Fisher, the uncle and nephew battling hard for the 9th position, and the 71 is not leaving them a lot of room on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's making it very difficult on Caden Fisher.
Yeah, you know Peter wants to defend it against the young nephew. If he wants to beat anybody on the racetrack, that's the guy. So he's put it as tight as he possibly can, trying not to let him go by.
And you can see now that Caden has the door on him, he moves up the racetrack and says, you know what, it's fair play now. You ran me down the racetrack, I'm going to run you up the racetrack.
Eric Tracy's going to jump into that battle as well. Peter Fisher to the 10th spot. Eric Tracy looking to jump in the top 10 of the 66 car.
PJ Evans out front with 30 laps to go, but he's got a mirror full of Brett Suggs, Josh Cottle, Kelsey Rogers, Trevor Edwards, Josh Parrish, Rick Rube. Again, your top 7 cars have broken away. AJ Rogers runs 8th. And now, trouble off turn 4. Corey Bigley goes around. Now Jackson Lewis and Peyton Howell around. That is going to throw us a caution on lap 96.
Corey Bigley backwards on the racetrack in the 28. We'll try to find out what happened to Corey.
And look, Corey might have got some help there. The 31 might have got into him.
I think that's friendly fire, Jeff. Those are team cars. Oh, a little bit of a... Well, Peter Fisher and Eric Tracy were battling right in front of them. We were watching this live and kind of jumped away from it here. I just think that might be a C car don't hit car situation.
Yeah, that's Zach Oden on the 31. These are team cars. And I don't know if Zach just rolled the corner a little better than Corey did, but he definitely got into the back of him and just turned Corey around there.
Get back into the Stinger Motorsports chopper cam and take a look at this one as they went through turns 3 and 4. Yeah, I think he just rolls the center better, Jeff.
I think Corey's, in his mind, he's thinking I need to be a little bit lower because the 71, he's getting a run on Peter Fisher. And he's setting up to have a run on the 71, and he doesn't want to push up on exit, get up near the 71. And I think it just allowed the 31 to roll the center of the corner better. And he caught Corey just too quickly there. But as we say, C-car don't hit car. If you're following the guy, it's easy to kind of judge the speed that they have in the center of the corner. You got to be able to get on the brakes and lift just a little bit for him. So Zach Oden going to go to the rear of the field there. Just our 4th caution of the night. As we are now within 25 laps to go. Remember, if you're hanging out with us on Facebook, like and share the stream. Make sure you let your friends know. We still got 25 laps to go here. This has been a banner of a race right now at Five Flags Speedway. This car has performed well. We weren't sure what we were going to get with this car at Five Flags, but this has been awesome right now. PJ Evans out front of Brett Suggs, Josh Cottle, Kelsey Rogers, Trevor Edwards. But the question is, has anybody used too much tire? Has anybody saved anything?
Well, we know the leaders have been running pretty hard. PJ Evans, Brett Suggs, Josh Cottle, Kelsey Rogers, Trevor Edwards, Josh Parrish, and Rick Rube were all the cars that basically ran out and ran pretty quick lap times. Again, we've talked about how Josh Cottle and Trevor Edwards have seemed to find something in this car. But that's going to be a lot to ask, Jeff, to go that fast for that long and then now try to hold off a lot of these cars that were saving tires. Unfortunately, Peyton Howell, who was one of the cars that was doing extreme tire saving, he was caught in that incident. But the other car that was doing it, Jeff, that I started to pay attention to was Del Mears. He's up to 13th.
Yeah, watch Del Mears right now in 13th spot. Watch Reagan Parent, who's now up to 11th. They started 25th and 26th. They've been saving tires. If anybody's going to make a charge at the end here, it could be those two. As we get double file pace car going to head off the racetrack. PJ Evans, Brett Suggs once again, lap 102 restart.
Brett Suggs again struggled on the restart. Cars making contact as Suggs did not get going. And Peter Fisher just doored Eric Tracy through 1 and 2.
Well, Josh Cottle going to be able to clear the 33 this time. Actually, as I say that, Brett Suggs makes a charge back the outside, but he's up in the wall. Has to lift a bit, and that's going to allow Trevor Edwards to go by. Here goes Trevor Edwards trying to take third as Josh Cottle is now clear. He's going to set his sights on the 12 of PJ Evans.
Everybody's shooting their shot now, Jeff. They are on kill. They're going as fast as they possibly can. We'll see what PJ Evans has left. Here comes Trevor Edwards. He has hit the go pedal. And it is time for Trevor Edwards to move forward as he is up to third inside of Brett Suggs. Here comes Caden Fisher. He's on the inside of Josh Parrish. Great racing here in the late model stock feature at the Five Flags, man. What a great car this is.
Yeah, about 50 laps ago, we watched Caden Fisher sink all the way back to 17th place on the outside groove. He was getting freight trained. He is back up to 8th as he just went around Josh Parrish, but those two are still battling hard. Here comes AJ Rogers. But again, Trevor Edwards and Brett Suggs cannot settle it. Suggs is making it so difficult for Edwards on this outside line. Look at Brett Suggs. Keeps getting a run down the straightaway, and he is keeping this 32 from being able to get clear and get a run on Josh Cottle.
Just great racing all throughout the field. Cars moving high, moving low, trying to find the move. Now Brett Suggs clears Trevor Edwards. He'll jump back into third spot. Edwards now under fire from Kelsey Rogers. Rogers going to look to the inside into turn number 3. Trevor Edwards seems to be in trouble in the 32 car. They'll make contact off of 4.
Well, here comes Rick Rube. He takes advantage of that because Kelsey Rogers got held up there as they make contact. And now Rick Rube backs out of it, and that's going to allow the 55 of Josh Parrish to get back underneath Caden Fisher. These two have been battling since the drop of the green flag in the lap 102 restart here. Behind them, Eric Tracy and Peter Fisher are battling. That's a battle for 10th on the racetrack.
There's cars just everywhere, Jeff. This is unbelievable. The high line seems to be working as well. Peter Fisher a little loose off of turn 2. Here comes Reagan Parent. Tell me Reagan Parent isn't on the lead lap and running for 12. He is. Here comes Reagan Parent moving through the field.
Kelsey Rogers almost clear of Trevor Edwards. He gets it. He has the 5th position. Actually, make that 4th position. Trevor Edwards back to 5th. Here comes Rick Rube looking for a top 5.
Caden Fisher with an issue down the back straightaway. I think he made contact with Josh Parrish. He saved it. He ended up in the grass on the infield of the back straightaway. He's going to save it and stay in 8th.
Bill, this is when you say the price of poker has gone up. It is through the roof as these guys are battling for everything. Rick Rube is chasing down Trevor Edwards, looking for the 4th spot now.
Everything is on the line right now for these guys working lap 112, make it 113 that we're on. An absolute insanity is broken out here at Five Flags, and great racing too, which is what we like.
PJ Evans is out front. It's just 0.3 of a second back to Josh Cottle. Brett Suggs runs 3rd. This is the best battle right now for 5th with Rick Rube and Trevor Edwards.
Del Mears still making his way forward, Jeff. He's up to 12th there. Tracy's on the outside. Here comes Jackson Lewis. Looks like he's figured out the connection issues. He's been out back all night long. He's moved up to 10th.
Yeah, Jackson Lewis, our points leader, making a rally late as Josh Parrish now is trying to take advantage of the 32 of Trevor Edwards. Trevor Edwards looks like that right front tire is giving up the ghost. He is just struggling along here at the finish of this one.
Peyton Howell, Peter Fisher made contact down the back straightaway. Peter Fisher way up the racetrack into turn 3. Peyton Howell's going to take that spot. Some damage on the 52 machine, but he's making his way back forward. You can see Jonathan Sanford back here. He's running for 16th as he's coming forward. He's been saving tires. Brendan Arlee is there. There's racing all over this racetrack at the moment.
Aiden Fisher bounced it off the wall last time by on the front straightaway. He runs in the 8th position, trying to catch Trevor Edwards. He's got a hard-charging Reagan Parent and Jackson Lewis behind him. Del Mears just made a move around Eric Tracy, moved Mears up to the top 10, and the caution is going to wave. We're going to re-rack him up here with just 5 laps to go. Is Corey Bigley around?
Whew. Take a breath, Jeff.
And that actually might have started in front of Corey Bigley with Brandon Lee and Jonathan Sanford, but yeah, we're going to need to catch our breath because that was a wild little run there.
I have to give a shout out, and I haven't done it all season, but I have to give a shout out to our setup builder, Daniel Pope II. This one is a barn burner, and it's all because of how this car is getting around the racetrack.
Well, the incident started with the 10 of Brandon Lee, the 212 with Jonathan Sanford. And it looked like Brandon might have got a rundown in a turn 1, and it's hard to tell. It's almost like it's like the 212 just, he was there. Brandon just wasn't able to woe it up enough and just kind of ran right into the quarter panel.
Kind of a late, it's really late. He's just barely there. I don't know how there he is. Does that make sense? Chopper cam.
Yeah.
Stinger Motorsports chopper cam. He's barely there and just gets into the left rear of the 212. That's how much alongside of him could he possibly be there for very long?
Yeah, I think that's one of those ones. It's if he was just a little bit further alongside of him down the straightaway, you can say, okay, the 212 chopped him, but the 212 is clear as he makes the entry into turn 1, and the 10 kind of shoots it down the inside really quickly, and yeah, I think it's just kind of the own responsibility of the 10 there to maybe back off a little bit.
And Corey Bigley, unfortunately, I think he spins to avoid. Sure does. Didn't hit anything. No harm, no foul.
Well, this is going to set us up for a run to the finish. We are within 5 to go. It looks like we're probably going to have a natural green-white checker with PJ Evans out front. Josh Cottle going to restart second. But Brett Suggs going to have that inside starting position now for third for the first time. He has had to start second a lot tonight. Now he'll be on the inside. Kelsey Rogers, 4th. Rick Rube, 5th. Josh Parrish, Trevor Edwards, Caden Fisher 8th. Reagan Parent, 9th. Jackson Lewis from the back to the front, running 10th. Del Mears, 11th. Eric Tracy, 12th. Peyton Howell, AJ Rogers, Peter Fisher in the top 15. And we still got 22 cars on the lead lap. We have officially lost Blaze Brinkley, Dylan Schreiner, Kyle Meyer, and Aaron Johnson tonight.
You know the strange thing about
Bill, here we go.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying we're doubled up. We are getting set to go, and it will be a natural green-white checkered finish.
I was going to say the strange thing about race cars here in the iRacing service, I was not a fan of this racetrack with the super late model. This is probably my favorite race of the season with the late model stock.
Well, can PJ Evans hold on for his first career ITZR win? Your Rookie of the Year points leader right now out front with Josh Cottle on the outside. They are off and away, and Cottle got a fantastic restart. He is door-to-door with PJ Evans heading into turn 1. Can he make the outside work? Will he try to get down in front of Brett Suggs instead?
Evans just clears him down the back straightaway. That was close racing. Here comes Brett Suggs for second. They're going to be side-by-side down the front straightaway. PJ Evans to the lead alone.
That's what Evans wants to see. He wants to see Brett Suggs drive alongside the 13 and let him get away. But that car got a little tight off turn 2, and even side-by-side, those guys are hanging with him. Here comes Brett Suggs up the inside. Battle is going on for further back for the 5th spot with Caden Fisher and Rick Rube. White flag is out for PJ Evans.
White flag is out. PJ Evans going to lead the field through turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, still a battle between Brett Suggs and Josh Cottle. PJ Evans into 3.
PJ Evans going to come off turn 4, going to win his first ITZR race, the LFOD Motorsports 125. Brett Suggs going to pick up second by inches at the line over Josh Cottle. Kelsey Rogers, Josh Parrish, top 5. Rick Rube, 6. Caden Fisher, Reagan Parent, Jackson Lewis, and Trevor Edwards, your top 10. Wow, Bill, that was a heck of a race.
What an unbelievable race tonight at Five Flags. Daniel Pope, thank you for this setup. That was fantastic. I can't believe that there are that many people in this field other than the guys that got wrecked that didn't have a tremendous amount of fun, and nobody had more fun than PJ Evans, who comes home with his first ITZR win. You can see how happy the driver of the number 2 is. Donuts on the front straightaway. Number 12.
Yeah,
Make that the number 12, but there's a 1 in front of that too, Jeff.
BJ Evans picks up his first career win ahead of Brett Suggs and Josh Cottle. I mean, he was in good company all night long.
PJ trying to find victory lane. Don't park it in behind the flag stand, PJ. Don't.
He's going to move that car around. I think he's listening to you right now.
Just put it where we can see it, PJ.
Looks like Peyton Howell going to come home 11th. Eric Tracy, Del Mears, Aaron Avendroth, AJ Rogers, your top 15. Peter Fisher, Zach Oden, Colby Bryant, Jonathan Sanford, Brandon Lee, your top 20.
What a race. 21st, Corey Bigley. 22nd, John Piette. Blaze Brinkley finishes 23rd. Dylan Schreiner, 24th. Kyle Meyer 25th. Aaron Johnson will finish 26th. I'm still trying to catch my breath, Jeff. That was, man, what a race. That was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're trying to work on getting PJ Evans in here. I think we're going to move on to our second place finisher. So while we wait for PJ Evans, we're going to talk to second place finisher Brett Suggs, going to join us in the broadcast booth. And Brett, that was a pretty wild race. There was a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of long green flag runs. Then we saw the top side it seemed like it started a battle back there, and you were able to hold up Josh Cottle on the outside for quite a while, and then you were able to take it back. What was it like out there on the racetrack? Were both lines pretty equal?
Yeah, they were definitely pretty equal, I'd say, with the gearing in the setup. That probably made the outside work a little bit better than you usually see, like in a fixed race or something. But overall, I mean, we wanted to win. We've been really close past handful of races we've ran. When we get to run, just unfortunately was not able to make it happen.
Well, Brett, talk about it, man. You were there all night long there in the top 3. What was your thought as this race unfolded, or your thoughts as this race unfolded, the strategy as it played out? I know you wanted to get to PJ Evans. What were you thinking as the green flag, that long green run happened, and what was your plan to try to get to the leader?
Yeah, we were trying to save a little bit, but couldn't really save too much because there was a ton of pressure from Jinx there. So kind of wanted to try to make a move around 50, 60 to go. Honestly, right when that yellow came out, right before that, I was starting to try to put some pressure on. I think we peaked underneath PJ a time or two, but never panned out. We were trying to just take it easy there and not totally kill it. But the pace was so high tonight that you really had to use it up pretty good.
Well, Brett, you talked about it. The pace was a lot higher than we've typically seen. Was there any concern at all about the right front tire? Was it the right front? Was it the right rear? Which one seemed to be going first?
It was definitely right front. I got a warning there on one of those last restarts that the right front was starting to wear out, which usually means it's at 50%. But now looking at the tires, I was a little bit heavier on the right rear, as I would have hoped to be, because we were starting to get pretty tight every time we'd have to run the top there.
So to us, it looked like the setup was a little bit loose, Brett. Was it loose early and then the right front started to wear out, or was the balance always on the right front, even though it did wear out the right rear? Clearly that's going to happen under throttle, but where was the balance as the race wore on?
I'd say to me, the balance was more right front dominant just because I had to use the top so many times there. I think, if we could have stayed on the bottom for the majority of it, we would have, definitely used a lot more of the right rear than we did. But overall, I mean, you saw it on those restarts. We just had to work hard on the top to hold off Jinx and then to hold off Trevor there, and try to get a run back to those leaders. And we started to reel them in before I think one of those last yellow flags. We started to get a good run there, and after my mistake of kind of choking the restart and then slapping the fence coming out of 4, getting back there with Trevor and having a race for that, that cost us a lot of time. But we almost reeled those guys in there at the end, and then thankful that yellow came out when it did, and we were able to battle hard with Jinx to get second.
Well, Brett, we always like to give people an opportunity to talk about the real life racing, and you just got done with Wilkesboro last week, and what's next up for you with the Cars Tour Pro Lates?
Yeah, so Wilkesboro last week, it was a pretty fun time. Not enough fun in my book. Unfortunately, we didn't end up finishing the race. We had a problem on the left rear right around halfway through. But we, most importantly, made the show. We qualified 15th and was running around the top 12 before we started to have a few issues. Next up, we just announced today we're going to run Tri-County with the Cars Tour this coming weekend. That's over there in Granite Falls, North Carolina. They've got a big 30 grand to win late model stock race and then 5 grand to win for the pros. Unfortunately, not enough love for the pros in my book, but getting out there and we're really putting it all on the line. We've been digging deep and we almost were not going to be able to run Tri-County. I'm not sure what it's going to look like after Tri-County. I know that I say that every race, but that's simply because we're on a race-to-race basis, just based on funding or lack of funding, I should say. So we're trying to make as many races as we can to stay in contention for Rookie of the Year. And right now, that has us going to Tri-County this coming weekend.
Awesome. Guess who's going to be there, Brett? I will be at Tri-County this weekend, so maybe I'll come down and say hello during the, was it the pit party thing that they have there before the races?
I sure hope they do. Everyone we were supposed to have at Hickory got rained out. At Wilkesboro, they axed it off the schedule due to having to run the super race that night. So as long as they have one this weekend, which I'm sure they will with such a big race, then you better come down and see me and get some hero cards and some merch.
Sounds good,
Yeah,
Jeff.
you better grab me a signed Brett Suggs
I
hero
can do
card,
that,
Bill.
Jeff. I can do that.
All right, Brett, before we let you get out of here, is there anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out might be watching on the stream tonight?
Yeah, I want to for sure thank Team Jones Race Development guys, Lee Norton and Shane Williamson up on the box and on the spotter stand each and every race, and keeping me calm in some of those high pressure situations and working through me for the whole race there. So big shout out to those guys as well as McConey Setup Shop. Code Team33 will catch you 15% off at checkout, and they've helped us out tremendously in the real racing side of things. So I'm really appreciative of everything they do to support our overall racing program. We also got Lake Norman Power Cleaning. And if you're in the Mooresville, Lake Norman, Concord, Hickory kind of surrounding areas, be sure to reach out to Lake Norman Power Clean on Facebook to set up your free estimate for commercial residential pressure washing services. We also got TH Motorsports giving us a great opportunity to go pro late model racing. Racer Tees with some sick graphics and some sick merch over there at Racer Tees website. Everybody that kind of supports our whole program with Racing America, LMI, North Creek Construction, a lot of people that put a hand on the race car and help us both virtually and real world racing. So we couldn't do it without them, and as well as you guys for always having some fun races and some great broadcasts.
All right, Brett. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. Next week, an off week for ITZR, but we're hoping we'll see you Thursday night for the Sarah race.
I'm not sure about this coming Thursday. I actually fly out to Detroit tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. And real quick story, I actually chose a early morning flight so I can make tonight's race for the fun time I knew we'd
Oh,
have.
awesome.
Heck yeah.
So I'll be in Detroit till Thursday. Not sure if we're gonna make Sara, but I'm sure the guys are gonna build something just in case if I can make it, and hopefully we'll get out there and have a good run.
All right, fantastic, Brett. Well, good luck. We'll let you get out of here, get ready for your flight.
Thanks, guys.
Well, now we get a chance to talk to our first-time winner, PJ Evans, your first career ITZR win. You do it in a pretty good fashion. You went to the front, and you held off two of the best guys in the business right now in the late model stock, Brett Suggs and Josh Cottle. What was that like looking in the mirror and seeing those two right on your tail for what felt like about 50, 60 laps there?
Oh, it felt tough. It was very tough. Just trying to conserve my tires and keep it on the bottom, just saving the right front, and it was very hard because like I've led a lot of laps. Like earlier in the season, I was leading most of the race, and then I fell back late in the race and just struggled. So this is one of my good tracks, so I kind of knew what I was gonna do, what to do, and how to conserve my tires here, and thankfully we were able to pull off the win today. I really needed this for the championship.
Jeff, I love when guys that run up front all season long say, "This is one of my good tracks." And
Yeah.
PJ Evans been a guy to beat all year long. PJ, how does it feel, man? First race win here at ITZR. You kind of paid your dues here these first few weeks. Being up front and trying to be a top 5 car in these races, and now to pull off a win. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, we struggled, like I said, struggled a lot. And I led a lot of laps, started on pole, probably the most times in this series and led a lot of laps and then just fell right back because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to like really save tires at the other tracks because I was just trying to hold the lead as much as I can and I just struggled afterwards and then had a few bad luck um, the past few races, but I'm glad I was able to turn around tonight.
Well, PJ, you were one of the guys that from the drop of the green flag, I mean, you went for it right off the bat. I think it was like 3 wide on the second lap. Was that kind of your game plan? Did you feel like you needed to be out front and control? Because Brett Suggs got around you at one point. I thought, okay, he's just going to ride. And no, you took advantage, went right back by him.
Yeah, I figured like if I just stayed out front and hold them off and try to conserve as best as I can, but staying out front, um, like if he got by me, I was not getting back by him because I still burn off the right front and I was so tight on entry and luckily the cautions kind of helped out there and we were able to hold on and pick up the first win. So it feels pretty good. Feels pretty good.
Was there any moment, PJ, that the nerves started to creep in and you were having trouble hitting marks or anything like that? Some people, when they're going for their first win, we've had guys kind of bit by a bug where they don't really hit the line there with like a lap to go. Did the nerves ever get to you or start to worry you that you might start missing something the guys are going to get to you?
Um, I was thinking maybe like probably like through center because I couldn't keep the car down, and Brett was having really good runs off the corner. Like I definitely the few times when he got underneath me, he had really good runs off the corner, and I was worried about late in the race that it was gonna happen again. Luckily it didn't, and he fell back behind Josh, and we were able to drive away when they were side by side, and I was able to and I was happy about that.
Well, PJ, we always like to talk to the guys about their real racing. And when I was trying to send you the Discord link, this post comes up about you might have won a Legends race. Was it yesterday or this weekend?
Oh yeah, I won a Legends race at Thompson Motorsports Park on the road course. I really haven't. Well, I'm in a late model this year, and our plan is to run like the Legend part time. And so we just went up to Thompson, had fun, was able to pick up a win in the first race. There's double features, and then the second race I was up front the most of the time, and then I got shuffled back, got put off track, and then I was able to drive back up to second, battle for the win on the last lap. But unfortunately, going into one, I got taken out and finished in the back. So, but overall, it was really fun to be back in the legend car after all the struggles in the late model. So we just took a few weeks off of that and just played with the legend this weekend and had a lot of fun with it.
That's impressive, man. We watched a video clip, Jeff, right before this race. We were watching some legend wreck there at the Thompson
Yeah, yeah.
race.
Some
Cody,
car hit the
no,
tires.
PJ Evans was there and won the race. But PJ, we always like to give everybody an opportunity to give a shout out to who helps them get speed in here in late model stock, and it takes a village to learn these cars and make them work. So, who do you want to give a shout out to tonight that helps you along the way?
I would like to thank my parents, my like especially my dad. Um, with the late model this year, we're both learning. It's just a learning curve. I'm actually running the AC. I was running the ACT tour at the beginning of the year, but like I said, we were just struggling to find a good setup and just find speed. So we decided to just go local to my local track, the Speed Bowl, and we're gonna run the 60 lapper this weekend, and hopefully we can get the car back to where it is and going fast, and we'll be doing that for a few weeks, and then depending on how it goes, we'll probably go back to the ACT tour and try again.
Well, PJ, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. Congratulations on your first ITZR win. You came into tonight fifth in points. The two guys ahead of you weren't here tonight, so the opportunity to move up in the standings. You'll have a bonus point heading into the playoffs. Just one more race before we head into the playoffs. You got to be feeling pretty good now, pretty confident that you might be a championship contender this season.
Yeah, hopefully I can stay consistent and finish up front the rest of the races, and got to keep learning, saving tires especially, because that's what I kind of struggle on in this series so far. So hopefully I can turn it around and figure it out.
Well, heck of a job tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now joining us, our third place finisher, Josh Cottle. And Josh, you had a chance. You got to second, the yellow waves. I don't know if you wanted to see that yellow or not, because it ended up putting you on the outside for the restart. You ended up slipping back to third. Did you think you had anything for him if the thing went green to the end there?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I was so tight there after those cautions. PJ was just really setting sail there. It'd been really hard to make a move. When we got the caution, I was like, I might could hold on here, and then I realized that there's not enough momentum on the start, so I fell back with Brad and re-raced really hard. But I had fun.
We'll talk about the race, Josh. You and Trevor Edwards have seemed to find something special in this car. We were talking about it all night long, and you started to make your way forward, and we basically said, hey, here they come. But then it just kind of tailed off. So what was the plan going forward? And was it the right front that wore out that you guys weren't able to make the moves you normally do?
Honestly, I thought the car was going to get looser as we went on, not tighter. So I started saving, and then like around lap 80 or so, I was really, really getting tight, especially battling with Brett in the cautions. I thought we needed to save a lot more than we did, and I was wrong about that. And since PJ pushed early, I feel like he heated up his right rear just enough to be able to hang on there.
Well, we talked to Brett about it seemed like the outside line started to come in, and that kind of caused some issues for you guys that were trying to catch PJ, because it seemed like every restart you had this battle for second, and it just allowed him some breathing room to save tires and drive away and build a little bit of a gap.
I think me and Brett realized that the only way we're gonna have a chance is whoever can be the first to get to him. So it was just, I mean, I feel like I got the most perfect restarts I possibly could have gotten. It was so even with me and Brett. I mean, it was a hell of a battle between me and him. I was, I was like, oh my gosh, after like each battle, I mean, I'm sweating.
So the setup tonight, we feel like it was a little on the tight side, but we also heard a little bit about the gearing, that the gearing was a little different, and it made the top side kind of come in. Did that make a race like this with a fixed setup more fun, or do you feel like you prefer going with the open type setups that are right on the edge all the time?
See, I personally thought that the setup was great. I think it's just another, like I said the other week, I think it's just another track issue where the car just gets tighter as it goes, even though it shouldn't.
Well, Josh, it's going to be another busy week for you. You had the strength of field stuff you had to build setups for tonight. You have the fixed setup race, and then Thursday night you're back to the open setup with Sarah. Is there anybody that you got to think that's been helping you out? I know you're kind of the lead role with the setup stuff, but is there anybody that you want to think that it's been kind of helping you out and keeping you guys up to speed here?
Oh, of course, man. I just gotta thank the shop, obviously. I mean, we put so much work in there. I can't thank Trevor, Barbecue, Spike, Alex, Aaron, Keith, Jacob, all those guys, man. They're all great. I can't appreciate them enough. And of course, obviously, EPI. I mean, it's been fun. Like you were saying, we had to work on setups with them, and then we got to work with Sarah. It's gonna be a one busy week, that's for sure. But I'm always down for it.
Well, Josh, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. We appreciate it. Congratulations. It was still a fantastic run, and you guys have kind of solidified yourselves, you and Trevor Edwards, in that top 8. You're looking pretty safe to be able to run for a championship, and you got to feel like you got a lot of confidence going into it as one of the more consistent guys in the field.
Oh yeah, man. So last week at Sobo, I made the wrong, like I butchered my Q lap, and I felt like this week I needed to be up front just to even like have a shot there. But I mean, this tonight's race is a lot better. Y'all did a fantastic job of getting it all sorted out. Thank y'all.
Well, thanks, Josh, and we look forward to seeing you Thursday night for Sarah.
Of course, man. Thank y'all.
Well, Bill, that is going to be a wrap for us tonight. Again, off week next week, so we will be back. Let me check our schedule. That will be June 5th and June 6th for the Elite Performance Industries Late Model Shootout Series in the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger. Another LFOD Motorsports, this time 110 lapper at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. We will be back in 2 weeks, but again, tomorrow night, another LFOD Motorsports 125 from Five Flags, and if it's anything like we saw tonight, I cannot wait for tomorrow night's race. The Challenger Series guys have been dueling all year long, and this track is showing it's going to be super racy.
Yeah, that was definitely the best, in my opinion. I mean, Nashville was fantastic, right? But this was, man, it was a barn burner. I'm a dirt racing fan, Jeff. I like pavement better, but I do love dirt racing. At one point, this looked like a dirt race. There were cars spread out all over the racetrack, just trying to find lines and things that, places that were fast. I mean, really, like I said, kudos to the setup builder Daniel Pope. Fantastic, and I cannot wait for tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, Sarah on Thursday night, May 25th, Richmond, the Cottle Captures 100. And we know what Richmond can provide with this car. We've already seen it. That is going to be an absolute epic race, I think. And I can't wait for Sarah, especially because we get to just kick back and watch and enjoy the show. So that is going to be a fun night. You're not going to want to miss Thursday night as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time. I mean, it's going to be a great week, right? I mean, the tracks that are lining up for us are just going to make us smile a lot, right? Tonight was fantastic. I can't wait for tomorrow. Then Thursday should be good as well. So we just get to watch some good racing, Jeff.
Absolutely. So make sure you're following us on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night for another LFOD Motorsports 5 Flags 125. We will see you there.